Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we take a massive stack of sources, articles, research, personal notes, and distill it all down to the most essential knowledge you need right now.
And today, we are diving deep into a subject that feels, intensely personal, but at the same time universally relevant. We're talking about the philosophy of self-care and beauty, really trying to strip away all the noise of product marketing.
Our source material is this really wonderful book, Beauty Story, Sarita Kulit, Sarita Diri, which translates to The Story of Skin, The Story of Self. It's by an Indonesian author, Amaliya Akmad. And our mission today is to pull out her core philosophy and all the best, most practical, and kind of surprisingly simple nuggets of knowledge she offers.
What's so fascinating about this right from the start is where it came from. This wasn't some polished book proposal. It actually began as this, very relatable, very casual collection of posts on Wattpad.
On Wattpad, really?
Yeah, between 2019 and 2020. She was just sharing honest experiences about skincare, and the response was huge.
And the numbers are staggering. We're talking over 60,000 reads on a platform mostly known for fiction that it confirms the book's central message, which is so reassuring. If you're struggling with your skin, you are absolutely not alone.
And that emotional hook leads you right into her main idea, which is just so refreshing compared to the billion-dollar beauty industry narrative.
Right.
She basically says that true beauty, it's not about chasing whiter skin or mastering some complex makeup routine. It's fundamentally about comfort, about the confidence and acceptance you feel when you are just at home in your own skin. It's an internal thing.
Okay, let's unpack that. The goal is internal comfort, not external perfection. But how do we get there, practically? Let's look at that simple, effective foundation, what the author calls the absolutes.
Her own story really cuts through all that modern pressure for, instant, expensive fixes. She points out that at 17, her skin was clear and healthy.
And it wasn't because of fancy products.
Not at all. No luxury stuff, no expensive clinics. It was just because she stuck to some really fundamental, simple care.
Oh.
And that's such a powerful contrast to the 10-step routines we see everywhere now.
Okay, so the core of this simple routine, it comes down to 3 pillars of consistency. Let's start with the one we probably all mess up the most, washing our face.
And the rule here is very strict and specific. You wash your face only twice a day, morning and night. That's it.
But wait, why not more? I mean, my instinct, and I'm sure a lot of you feel this too, is if my skin feels oily, I should wash it more to get the oil off. What's the catch?
The catch is the skin barrier. That's the key. Think of your skin barrier as like the mortar between the bricks of your skin cells. It's the thing that keeps moisture in and all the bad stuff like irritants and infection out.
Okay.
When you strip it, which is what happens when you wash too often or with a harsh cleanser, you're seriously damaging that barrier.
You're basically creating little cracks in the wall.
Exactly. And your skin instantly loses moisture. It detects that dryness as a threat. So to compensate, it starts producing more oil.
Oh, so you make the problem worse.
Way worse. You get more oil, clogged pores, irritation, and eventually more breakouts. So twice daily with a really gentle cleanser is the sweet spot. It's about maintaining that barrier.
Consistency, not frequency. Got it. Okay, pillar 2. This is non-negotiable, especially for anyone living in a tropical climate like the author. A daily day cream with UV protection.
Yes. Minimum SPF 15 to 30. And this is crucial. It's every single day, whether you leave the house or not. A lot of people think they only need it when they're, at the beach.
And what's interesting there is that UVB rays are the ones that cause sunburn, the burning rays. But it's the UVA rays that go deeper into the skin. And this is the key part. They go right through glass.
Right. So if you're working by a window or driving your car or even just sitting inside on a bright day, you're getting that UVA damage. It's the main cause of dullness, dark spots, premature aging.
So that daily SPF is your future proofing?
It absolutely is. And the third pillar is the simplest one of all. Just apply a night cream before bed. That's when your body is already in regeneration mode, and the cream just helps that natural process along.
Simple enough. But what about when a breakout happens anyway? Because it will. The author has one single brutal rule for this.
And it comes from that same idea of consistency and patience. The rule is, do not touch, pick, or squeeze it.
Ugh, that's so simple, but it is the hardest piece of advice to follow. The urge to just get rid of it is huge.
It is, but resisting is so worth it. When you pick at a spot, you risk spreading that infection deeper or to other parts of your face, create new breakouts. Or worse, you leave a permanent scar. Patience will always win over trying to fix it yourself right now.
Okay, so we have the simple foundation. But often, the biggest problem is that we get obsessed with complexity. Let's get into the mistakes we make when we're actually trying too hard.
Yeah, and the author talks about her own initial mistake, which really shows you how much marketing has warped our idea of clean. She used to think her skin had to feel tight and rough after washing.
Oh, that squeaky clean feeling.
Exactly. She even remembers using soaps that left her face feeling, pulled and uncomfortable. But that tightness isn't cleanliness, like we just said. That's the feeling of your skin barrier being completely stripped.
Which just leads to dryness, then more oil, and then those annoying little breakouts you get around your nose and chin.
Right. We get so obsessed with being clean that we end up being destructive.
Hmm.
But if being too harsh is one mistake, the other big one is just impatience, viral product hopping.
Ah, yes. The TikTok promise of glowing in 3 days. So you ditch your whole routine for whatever's trending this week.
And it's a massive drain on your wallet and your skin. Your skin needs time, weeks, sometimes even months, to adapt to a new product. If you're constantly changing things, your skin is just in this perpetual state of confusion and reaction, which often leads to really severe breakouts.
The lesson there is that a good product isn't always the right product for you, and you won't know if it's right instantly.
You have to commit. Which brings us to the main key that unlocks everything.
Yeah.
You have to know your skin type. You have to identify your canvas before you pick any product.
If you don't know it, you're just guessing, and that guessing is expensive, wasted money, irritation, breakouts, all that anxiety.
So the book outlines the 5 main types: normal, oily, dry, combination, and sensitive. Oily skin is, shiny, visible pores, makeup slides off.
Right. Dry skin feels tight, maybe looks a bit dull, can be flaky. Combination is the most common, right? Oily T-zone, but your cheeks are normal or dry.
Exactly. And sensitive is less about oil and more about reaction. It gets red or feels hot really easily when you introduce new things.
So how do you figure this out at home? We've got a great actionable nugget for you here, the blotting paper test. Super simple, cheap, and it works.
First step, you wash your face with a gentle cleanser, pat it dry. Then you just wait for 1 to 2 hours. Don't put anything else on, no moisturizer, no toner. You want to let your skin's natural oil production reset.
Okay, and then you take some blotting paper or even just a clean tissue and you press it lightly on the 4 main zones: your forehead, your nose, your cheeks, and your chin.
And then you just look at the oil pattern. If the paper is soaked with oil from all 4 spots, you're oily. If it's just the T-zone, your combination.
If it's almost totally dry, you're dry. And if there's just a little bit of oil everywhere, you're normal. And that simple bit of knowledge is the whole foundation.
It is, which is a perfect transition to section 3, where this whole philosophy of self-acceptance really hits home. Because once you know your own canvas, you start to realize how irrelevant all those standards on social media are.
They're more than irrelevant. They're manufactured. That 24-hour glow, the poreless cheeks. The author really emphasizes that these are marketed to you to make you feel like you're not enough, to keep you chasing the next product.
And this feeling of being flawed is something she connects to her own life, with this really powerful story about verbal bullying when she was a kid.
Yeah, that part was tough to read.
She remembers people saying things like, "Awas lu, bibir lu jatuh," which is a really rough phrase in Indonesian about her full lips. She explains how these kinds of jokes can cause this really long-lasting trauma, this deep fear of just being seen and judged.
And her shift in perspective came not from changing herself, but from seeing others embrace what made them different. She points to role models like Angelina Jolie or Kylie Jenner or Halima Aden.
And the common thread there is that the very thing that was seen as a flawful lips, a unique cultural identity, became a celebrated source of confidence.
So the lesson is to stop chasing validation from other people and start using skincare as a genuine, gentle form of self-care. Which brings us back to that core idea. Kantik itu bukan soal penampilan tapi soal cara kamu memperlakukan dirimu sendiri.
Beauty is truly about how you treat yourself. It's about being kind to your skin, patient, and respecting what you were born with.
And we have to include her advice for anyone who's a victim of bullying, which is to speak up and report it. She makes it so clear that you're protected by law and you deserve to live without that fear. Protecting yourself is the ultimate act of beauty.
Let's switch gears now from the philosophical to the really, really practical. We tend to assume solutions have to come in a bottle, but the author reminds us that sometimes the low-tech fixes are the best.
I love this part. She jumps straight to the all-natural, super cheap fix, an ice cube. It sounds almost too simple to be true.
But it works for 2 big things. First, open pores. If you gently rub an ice cube, maybe wrapped in a thin cloth, over your T-zone before you put on makeup, it can instantly constrict your pores.
And that makes your makeup go on smoother and last longer.
Right. And second, for panda eyes, dark circles, puffiness, the cold from the ice cube reduces swelling, it soothes the blood vessels, and it stimulates circulation.
How long do you do it for?
Just 15 to 30 seconds per side is all you need. It's a quick, non-chemical way to deal with a bit of inflammation.
Okay, what about the battle against comedones, blackheads and whiteheads? She has a few non-product methods for that too. One is just gentle scrubbing a couple of times a week. That's pretty standard.
But the next one is a little surprising. Using a soft, bristled toothbrush when you're washing your face.
Whoa, a toothbrush? That sounds aggressive. Aren't we worried about the skin barrier we just talked about protecting?
It's all about the technique.
Mm.
And the bristles. This is not your regular toothbrush. It has to be super soft bristled,
Hmm?
and you're only circulating it very, very gently just on your nose area
Mm-hmm.
for like 30 seconds max.
So the goal is just to lightly lift surface gunk, not to scrub your whole face.
Exactly. It's a gentle mechanical aid. And then there's the really old school extraction method, the stainless spoon technique.
Right. Tell us about that.
So first you have to open up your pores with steam or warm compress. Then you take the concave side of a spoon and you gently press and slide it over the area to ease out any whiteheads.
You'd need a really steady hand for that. I can see how you could push too hard and cause some damage.
Right, absolutely. You have to be gentle or you're right back to causing irritation. And finally, she mentions pore packs, but with a big warning. Max 2 or 3 times a week. If you use them too much, you can actually widen your pores over time.
So it defeats the purpose.
Completely. And for those of you with really sensitive skin or allergies, she gives some great tips from her own experience with cold and seafood allergies.
Yeah, she talks about warming the body from the inside out with drinks made from ginger and turmeric.
Right. Kunyit, or turmeric, is famous for its anti-inflammatory properties. It helps soothe those internal reactions that show up on your skin. Externally, she uses minyak kayu putu, that's kajaput oil, for localized warmth.
And a crucial tip for allergic skin. Moisturize immediately after a warm shower. It locks in the moisture before it can evaporate and leave you feeling dry and itchy.
And if you're dealing with old scars, she recommends simple, proven stuff, natural things like aloe vera or vitamin E oil, or over-the-counter products with allantoin and that classic healer, Centella asiatica.
This all leads perfectly into our last section, section 5, the Awet, Muda, or Everlasting Youth Lifestyle Reset. This is where it becomes clear that skin health is totally inseparable from your overall health and happiness.
Yeah, she tells this great little story about how she's often mistaken for being 2 years younger than she is. And she says it has nothing to do with expensive creams. It's all about 6 simple lifestyle choices.
Okay, let's go through them. Number 1 is positive thinking learning to mute negativity. How does that connect to skin?
Stress. When you're constantly stressed, your body pumps out cortisol. Chronically high cortisol leads to inflammation, and inflammation accelerates aging and makes things like acne and eczema worse. So positive thinking is actually a tool to manage internal inflammation.
Okay, and what about number 5? Adequate sleep. 7 to 8 hours, but she says preferably before midnight. Why is the timing so important?
Because sleep is when all the repair happens. And hormones that are essential for that repair, like growth hormone, they peak early in your sleep cycle. If you're always going to bed super late, you're missing that prime window for deep, restorative rest.
The other 4 are things we know but probably don't do enough. Exercise, even just 10 minutes. Water, 8 glasses. A balanced diet, especially knowing when to cut back on sugar. And just having fun, laughter, simple pleasures.
And she really drives the diet point home. She contrasts her preferred diet, Kenyang, the healthy satiety diet, which is just eating 3 balanced, healthy meals, mostly boiled or steamed, with those extreme K-pop diets.
Like the famous IU diet, which is like an apple, a sweet potato, and a protein shake for the whole day.
It's insane. Those extreme nutrient-deprived methods are so damaging to your metabolism, the author just calls them what they are, torture. Her philosophy is about feeling healthy and sustained, not about rapid, dangerous weight loss.
And she has a great simple diet trick that fits right in. Drink 1 large glass of water before you eat.
Yes. It helps you feel full earlier, so you naturally eat a bit less without feeling deprived. So simple, but so effective.
So if you look back at this whole journey, we've gone from chasing external validation, from thinking beauty is a product you buy, to embracing this idea of internal comfort and care.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that beauty really comes from consistency, patience, and your own mental well-being.
It just hammers home that self-awareness, knowing your skin type, your allergies, when you need to rest, is so much more important than the price tag on your product.
Consistency and kindness, those are the key ingredients.
And let's leave you with the author's final provocative thought. It's about makeup and age, something for you to think about. She argues that heavy skincare and makeup, they're choices, not obligations.
Hmm.
She thinks it's wise to start learning about light makeup in middle school, maybe use some light products in high school, but that heavy full-face makeup should really be reserved for adulthood, maybe 20 and up.
She's encouraging young people to really embrace their natural state while they're still growing. Because the philosophy you should carry with you ultimately is that you are still beautiful without any splash of color on your face.
A perfect thought to end on, reminding us all to look inward for our standards. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive. We'll see you next time.